Yo, what is up, my golden boys and girls? Chandler here, and today we are doing another one of the competitive part review series, and this video is going to be on discs, frames, and chassis. So there's going to be whoa! It's going to be a lot to go over. So we got normal core discs, we got normal discs, and this will be going over basically for classic and for standard. For all you guys who do not know what classic is compared to standard, standard is basically like sparking stuff, while classic is like dual layer, and that's literally it, just dual layer and pre-gen. So I'm gonna do my best to, sorry about the shadow, do as many classic parts and standard parts as I can. I will start with the non-core discs first. So let's lay these all out here. You can see I have quite a bit. So I'm going to say this now. We have Sting, Around, sometimes Ratchet, 100% Wheel, Paradox every now and again. I like the ones I can name off the top of my head. We also have Vanguard. Looking through the discs as we go. Yell. I'm not sure if Outer I think is... I'm pretty sure Outer's legal. Outer is still pretty good. Spread. Let's take the painted Outer instead. Use the red Blitz. It's cooler. Heavy, Gravity. For the limit break discs, I'd say there's only one that's really good, which is Co. I'll use the Flood Dragon. I like that one better. And I think there's also one more. I gotta remember where I put the Beyblade. There it is. And Polish. These are the ones I can name off the top of my head. So these are basically discs that are not able to support frames, and when we move on to the discs that support frames, there's not going to be a lot of them, so I'm going to do those with frames. Now let's start off with the first disc that was released of the era, which was Spread. So Spread is a classic format disc, and it's very wide. It's very wide, very circular, and you can usually see this using on like pure stamina. Like you'll see it on Neptune with Revolve. You'll see it on Stallers occasionally. It's just very wide and it has pretty good stamina. It's basically one of the better discs that you can actually use for the game. So, pretty good pick is Spread. So, Spread. Next up, we have Heavy. Heavy came on Ragnarok. Heavy is pretty much what it's also another classic disc, and it's well known for what the name implies. It's heavy. It's, I think, the second heaviest disc for, forgot one, I just realized. Second heaviest disc that you can use in Classic. It's, it's probably one of the better discs. And I don't have all, like, the really competitive layers, but I have all the really competitive discs and chassis right now. I have to really focus on getting what's, like, more expected and wanted. But Heavy is just very good for defense. You don't want to use it on stamina, but you could probably use it on attack. For attack, though, you're going to want to use Gravity. I think these weigh the same. Or I think Gravity's, like, only, like, a couple, like, point something heavier than Gravity, but Gravity's got all the weight on the outside, which because Heavy's is just very centralized. It's all on the outside for Gravity, giving it really good stamina and really good procession. And this is probably one of the discs that you're gonna want to use for your classic combos. So the next one we have is Polish. Now, everyone remembers the good old days of Drain Fafnir Polished Atomic. This disc is a centralized core that both Jerk and Magnum have. with a POM ring. Yes, this is actually made out of POM. That allows it to basically glide against the stadium. This is still really used in Classic on like Dragoon and stuff for equalization. It's really good. I was lucky enough to pull a 4-star one back when during Godlayer era. Very good part, like something that is probably like very famous disc. But yeah, that's Polish. The next disc we have is Yell. Yell is also using on stamina. It's also using on stallers. It's got weight in the center. It's got weight on the outside. It's very, very wide. And I think it was the widest disc for the time. I'm pretty sure it's still like... No, it's not. No, it's like the new discs have definitely outclassed it. But Yell is very wide, and its overall shape is very good. It's a hard disc to balance tune, from what I know. I'll probably do an entirely different video on balance tuning. I'm actually not very good at it, so it's going to be a bit of a pain to figure out. I actually have balance tuned parts I got from a lot, and I think that will probably explain what balance tuning is. But yeah, Yell, very good for stamina. You'll probably see this using a lot on like Revolve. Revolve's probably the best driver for this. I'm not too influenced in Classic. I know this disc is all around good, though. And lastly, for our main core discs, or main discs from the original series, we have Quarter. Quarter is a one-trick pony. The only singular parts you want to use on this disc is Unite Dash and Keep Dash on Gaia for Classic. These are the two drivers you're going to want to work on this, because the rubber ball negates the balance, and Unite's just very good at KO defense. So KO defense, this is probably the best disc because of how heavy it is. It is actually heavier than Gravity and Heavy, so very good disc. So let's move into a little better territory. We have Outer. I'm not sure if it's allowed in Limited. Limited is basically like God layers and like early and bad Chozy layers. I hear it's pretty good. Like, I remember when Outer first came out, it was, like, basically, it was just better than Wheel before Wheel came out. And so, like, everyone would be using Outer for, like, sheer stamina. But the gimmick discs definitely outshined them. But Outer is still a very good weight. As the name implies, it has all the weight on the outside, making it one of the best stamina discs in the game. And I think this is actually still... Yeah, this was actually banned at a time by the WBO because of how uncommon this part was. You had to get, like, a $500 release. Next up, I think we're going to go with Sting. Sting, why is it good? It's just really heavy, and it's got great same spin. It's not much to say. It has this little bound gimmick that really won't affect performance, but it's very, very good. And when I go over... so you want to use this, like, I remember this was using a lot on Chozy, Spriggan, Atomic back in the day for, my Shadows casting for, just same spin stamina. Still a very good option, and I would say, if you do have one, you should use it. Next up, we have Blitz. Blitz is a disc that came on Slash Valkyrie and, Lord Spriggan. It's very good for attack. It's got great weight distribution for attack. And these little flaps kind of help a bit. It also has very thick tabs, which a lot of people like to use on Judgment because of how Judgment's rubber does work. But it's a very, very, very cool driver to be able to use. So I'd say if you do own one of these, definitely go for this. It is 100% a very good thing to do. The layer video, I think, is... By the way, speaking of the video, layers, a layer video is probably going to be split into 3 parts, which is standard layers, GT layers, and sparking layers. And those will all be in their respective categories. So, yeah. We have our Blitz disc. Pretty good for attack. Let's do Ratchet. Ratchet's also a one-trick pony. You only want to use this guy on equalizer combos, and even then, he's zero wall is still just better. But you could still use it. I'm not a big fan of the disc, but it is really freaking good. And it's decently heavy. The next one we have is Vanguard. Vanguard is also kind of like Ratchet. It's very good on equalizers. Used to be very good on bearing. If they ever do a GT format, this is definitely one of the best discs for bearing. Where's my... Do I have bearing that's, like, showing right now? Or where's the red... Like, I'm telling you, blue Vanguard, red bearing. I love that. That's so cool. I'm sorry, I'm a fiend for color combos. Sue me. But Vanguard, very good disc for just opposite spin stamina. Now we have Around. This is balanced tuned. You can see the star here. So the star is actually designed to balance the disc a little more. So Around just has good stamina. Like some of the best stamina in the game. It was very good. At just pretty much just all around, it was pretty good. The only downside was the shape. Like, if this was all, like, just a kind of a polish thing, this would just be better polish. But they had to have, like, some sort of gimmick, so they added the metal ball gimmick, which is why Flare Dragon is so ball heavy. That's not even funny. Next one we have is Paradox. Paradox, same thing with Ratchet and freaking, yeah. You never want to use it in skirt up mode, because on naked, because it's just not good. You always want to use it on the skirt down mode. Even if I do like skirts up, if you know what I mean. I am so messed up. But yeah, basically this is the mode you're going to want to use for equalization, because it's basically just a low sitting frame with good weight distribution. Yeah. Next up we have is Wheel. This is your best stamina disc by far. It weighs the most, and it is definitely the best for stamina. Just slap this on anything stamina orientated and standard, and it's okay. And lastly, we have, this is only for the limit break bays. If you want to use them, just use this. This is the best disc you could possibly use for them. It's all around the most balanced out of all of them. And don't they have stars? Yo, they actually put stars in these. That's pretty cool. But yeah, just use these. These will save you. Alright, so that was standard discs. Let's move on to core discs. Oh my god, I have a lot of them. I'm going to put them here. I want red or blue. I'm thinking I'm going with the blue. I like the blue. 07. Trying to think of the others, because there's not many ones you're actually going to be able to use anymore. I'll count it. Is there a 5 in here? 5's pretty good. And I think that's it. Yeah. Yeah, there are not many core discs you're actually going to be able to use, guys. So that's also downside. That should be in this box here. Now, I know when I talk about Beyblades, I'm like, there's so many good parts you're able to use. I'm like, for core discs, there's kind of a limit. And there are only, I think, I'm going to say this now, there are only 6 core discs that you are going to be able to use. That being 4, 00, 5, 0, 10, and 7. These are the only core discs that I would say use in competitive. They are all really good for what they do, and yeah. And even then, 5 and 4, you don't even have to have. Like, these discs are just kind of for stamina. Now, where these core discs will come in is when we bring out the frames. I just dropped a couple of them in my lap. Let me just drop them in. And there are a lot of frames that you are able to use. And I happen to be a proud owner of a lot of frames. So, yes. 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 Absolutely yes. Falcon, yes. Not enough testing, but I'd still say yes. Yeah, the green one's rarer. I want to flex the rarer frames that I have. I've been seeing it. One Trick Pony. Yeah. I think that's about it. Did I forget one? I did forget one. I forgot one of the most important frames in the game. Alright, so I have a total of 10 frames here, and I'm going to go over each of them one by one. So we have Expand. Really good for Destroy Dash-based combinations. It's pretty wide. It's just all around very good frame. So, like, you could use it on, say, 00 Destroy Dash. Let's see if I can find the make it very, like, flossy looking combo. Yeah, so you just use this combo, America. I'm sorry, I had to make an American joke, because I'm a patriot, baby. So yeah, you want to use 00. Expand, you can use Proof is all around just a good frame. It's got good weight, pretty good life after death. Just all around use that whenever you can. Glaive, really good for stamina. Cross, really good for life after death. Bump, all around a really good frame. Axe, I haven't done enough testing, but I'm assuming it weighs quite a bit, so it's probably going to be pretty good for attack. I'm going to probably do testing with it. Dagger, really good for attack. One Trick Pony for Nightmare Longinus. I'll explain. Should I grab... do I want to grab... I'm going to grab Nightmare Longinus for a second, because this might be a really fun thing to explain. I'm also going to need an iron driver, because, you know, iron is a very funny driver. Because, yeah, we all know why I use this. But, basically, if you use this frame on Nightmare Longinus, with this, you have yourself clicked it all the way, you are just not going to burst. You can hear the stress, and you can also see it. Like, it's rubbing against the layer. Ugh! Yeah, you are not bursting with this combo. Very fun. Very fun to use. But it will wear out your frame. And this is one of the... I think this is, like, one of the lightest frames in the game, so you gotta be very wary of it. But Nightmare Longinus is one of the heaviest layers in the game, so what are you gonna do? We also have, these guys also fall in the same category. They basically do the same thing. They're just really good for bearing. So, yeah. Yeah. That's practically it. Let's move these over here. And I think we have the last part, which is chassis! Why am I not doing chassis with the sparking layers? I don't have a clue. I will probably re-go over all of them with the sparking layers, but, yes. 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 Yeah. Yes. One trick. We'll put these together with, like, as one trick, so they're only good on one thing. Yes. That's literally it. There weren't many chassis released. So, for chassis, we have a total of, I want to say, 7 chassis. These are the only ones that I would say are competitively viable. And 2 of these are one-trick ponies. These are the only 2 that are one-trick ponies. I guess I could probably say this one, because he's only, like, good on, like, Brave, Destroy Dash combos. But these 2, basically, this you only want to use on Hollow, and this you only want to use on Rage. That's literally it. Or use it with Lucifer too, if that's the case. You can also use... This is good for stamina. Don't ask me why. You think it's an attack chassis. I swear to God, this thing on Tempest is an absolute beast. Stars we get on here. 2 stars. But they did go with the balanced stars again, so no balance tuning chassis. Which is freaking amazing. Something we get only that many stars. It's not funny. Just looking through here. Alright, I should not be looking through the chassis. Really good for equalization, whether it's worn or not worn. When it's worn, it's pretty much like one of the heaviest chassis in the game. Not as heavy as this. This thing is you only want to use in free spin. It has pretty good stamina, from what I've read. I haven't done enough testing with it to be satisfied, but I've heard that it is very good. It's also very late at night, so if I yawn a couple of times, like I'm about to, it's because this is the exact same day I filmed the driver video, and I had the idea, let's just film this and get this one out of the way. But yeah. Fucking cool. And then we have 1S. Should be paired with... Pretty much should be only paired with wheel. But you could use any other disc you want. It's up to you. But it's just a support... Like, just allows you to support disc. That's all the chassis. I don't think I missed anyone. Yeah, so we have all the chassis and we have all the discs. So standard discs. We have our core discs. And we have our frames. So, like I showed in the case video, I had cases for all of my dash drivers. I had cases for all of my normal drivers. And I was all sorted them out by type. So, yeah. So, basically, I just have everything here kind of sorted. So, basically, I have a small box for all of my frames. I have plenty of more frames. I just don't bring them out because they're all, like, for the Hasbro stuff. I have an entirely separate, like, bin full of Hasbro burst, which those sit in. I'll just put them all up. So, for non-core discs, I have a box, small, like, another container. They all just fit nice and neatly and snug in there. For chassis, I have another box for chassis. Still not full. I'm hoping some of the random boosters from Dynamite help me fill it up finally. And then for core discs, they have this big, heavy thing. So, back to the case. Alright, we're going back to the case. Yay. So, like I showed you, we basically did half of the case for drivers. So for our things, I will put frames in the front. Then I would put core discs right in front because I want to focus on these two. So if I need like a core disc, I'll fish there. And then I will put normal disc above because these are discs. And if I need to grab a chassis, I will grab a chassis because it's next to discs. If I want to use a disc, I will go into here. If I'm like using single chassis, I'll then go into here with like one hand. I would grab this with one hand. Fish for what I'm looking for with this hand. And if I want to use a double chassis, I will just be fishing for my driver. So it's kind of more or less functional. Because if I wanted a basic combo around a dash driver, I would go to the discs or the... It's more or less my hand coordination for how I do this. I could easily reverse this and it'd be discs on this side, drivers on this side. But I feel like... I like how I orientate my case. But yeah, how you orientate your case is up to you. Organization, key... This is always a fun video series to do. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Join the Discord, link in the description below. This video was filmed the exact same night I did the driver video, and I hope you guys all enjoy. I'm doing a video next on probably Hasbro stuff. If you guys want to see actual Hasbro content on the channel, like and just like the video, comment. Also, what? Discord, yeah, Discord, I think I said everything. If we can get this video past, 5 likes, I guarantee you, nothing will happen. So you all have an awesome day. Stay safe. Stay awesome. And Beyblade.